Another tricky day in the markets. Welcome back to another trade recap. Today is February the 11th. Today is a Wednesday. I took another three trades in the markets today. I was actually on the wrong side of the markets. I was looking for continuation right off the bat, but of course, we end up getting that SPY and Q's rejection off our previous day highs. We'll go on to all the trades I end up taking today. First things first, let's go right on to my P&L in the trades that I took. As you can see, I ended up taking three trades today. I took one small winner on Tesla, one small loser on Nvidia, and then I ended up nailing the gap fill short towards the downside on Nvidia on the 0-day contracts for a nice win on the day to put me up green. As you can see, I'm up $11,000 this week. $67,000 this month. This week has been fairly tough. To keep it frank, right? The first day was super solid on Monday. The last 2 days have been a little bit more tricky. I've also taken quite a few trades the past 2 days, right? I took 6 trades, 3 yesterday, 3 today, and 3 on Monday, but a little bit tougher price action the past few days, primarily just based off of the SPY and Qs rejecting, not as much continuation, which has made it a lot more difficult, specifically on Tesla and the rest of the names. But let's go on to exactly the game plan coming into today, and then we'll go on to some of the trades I end up taking. So as you can see here, the game plan for February the 11th. Coming into today, you can see we just had some red folder news, markets pushing higher. What I like to see is a reaction that we have off our previous day highs coming to market open. SPY 696 along with QQQ 617. As for my main watches, keep an eye out for Tesla, Nvidia, AMD above our previous day highs. The rest of the names, MU, previous day highs, TSM pullback for continuations. As I mentioned, SMH is looking solid for continuation higher. So coming into market open, what was our game plan? Our game plan was keeping an eye on the reaction here that we have off our previous day highs. So very clear levels. If we can break above, we can see continuation higher. That was one of our main theses coming to market open. Other longs were going to be the bounce off our previous day lows. But of course, with this super strong push towards the upside, we're primarily looking for this above our previous day highs or the potential rejection for this reversal back down in towards our previous day close. So there's really two scenarios. I'll talk about kind of the scenario that I was looking for primarily on the Qs and how that didn't really play out. And that's why longs were a lot more difficult within the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then of course I was a little bit too late on the short side. I did end up flipping short, but I was a little bit late. Couldn't really get an entry on the SPY or the Qs, but I ended up shorting on below our previous day lows for this nice continuation lower. SPY, similar thesis here coming into market open. I really wanted to see the push up in towards our all-time highs. I want to see the break above, continuation higher. Ultimately, we end up getting that rejection and this reversal back down in towards our previous day close. So the trades I end up taking coming to market open. As you can see right here, first trade was on Tesla. Really strong push right off the bat. First dip right off here, which was our 1 minute down close candle or order block. Super solid entry, looking for high day plus continuation. Yesterday, almost the exact same thing. I was reading the tape today. Yesterday, I didn't take any off before high of day. Today, I saw it come up, couple rejections here. As you can see, we came up. I want to see the break above, rejection, another rejection. So it came up the third time. I was like, okay, I'm going to scale my position here now on Tesla. So scaled 40% of my position and then end up cutting the remaining trailers just because Qs at this exact moment in time was rejecting off our previous day highs. So I ended up cutting Tesla, very small win. I think it was up over $1,000 on that one. And then for Nvidia, I ended up taking 2 trades on Nvidia. So basically, at the exact same time I was looking for this Tesla push towards upside, I ended up taking Nvidia above our previous day highs. It was a previous day high reclaim here. So Nvidia, as you can see, what we're looking for coming to market open was our previous day high break and retest above our 192, looking for continuation. The only problem with this trade is we're trying to anticipate the higher time frame breakout. So there very much well could be a rejection right off this higher time frame key level, which is exactly what happened. But the way I managed this position, I think I managed it a little bit poorly just because I was in 2 trades at once. I was supposed to scale at high of day, which gave me about an 18% move, and I was not able to take any contracts off. but a pretty solid entry. So as soon as we had some strength, we broke above, entered in on the flip of this candle, looking for high of day plus continuation, and ended up moving up and towards high of day on the very next candle. At this exact moment, I was also paying attention to NVIDIA. I'll show you the live session here in a second. Was not able to take any off at high of day. And then price just ended up consolidating. For me, the trade had to work out right away. So I wasn't able to take any off. So I was like, okay, now I'm just going to cut it. If it shows any sort of weakness whatsoever, I'm just going to cut it. So for NVIDIA, as soon as it had a candle close underneath our previous day highs, as soon as we had a candle close underneath our previous day highs, which as you can see right here, ended up immediately cutting the position, and you can see it ended up dropping. So I ended up taking about a $1,500 loss or $2,000 loss on this one. Ended up making about $1,500 on Tesla. So I was down about close to $500 to $1,000 for the first two trades of the day. And then I end up taking this trade much later into the session. So I'll kind of go over the thought process later, but NVIDIA, what I was looking for much later into the session, break underneath this 190.50. I was looking for this full gap fill towards the downside. So as you can see, what we have here is this gap that we've created. Now I'm looking for this gap fill short towards the downside. We end up having a nice rejection right off this down close candle. As you can see, some nice sellers stepped in, end up taking short position here, end up taking the 0-day contracts on this one, and nice push basically straight down and towards your gap fill. So it took 80% off here, and then I ended up cutting the rest remaining as it broke back above. So that was the three trades I ended up taking today. The NVIDIA, at least for sizing wise, so for Tesla, end up taking, I think it was close to 50, I think it was like 60 contracts on Tesla. And then for NVIDIA, I ended up taking smaller position size because I was already in Tesla. And then the next one on 0 days, I was in a little bit of smaller position size as well. So it could have actually ended up being decent green if I sized in a little bit more on that NVIDIA short. But I ended up being small green for today. I've been playing a lot more defensive the past few sessions just because we haven't had too much continuation. And I've been looking for continuation even though we haven't got it. So let's go into the live session to show you exactly what my thought process was coming into market open. Let's play out the tape here. So as you can see right off the bat, we already knew the Qs was bearish. As you can see here, Qs rejecting off our key level. We're getting underneath our previous day high. So I'm neutral here on the Qs. I want to see the flip back above our 616, but you can see Tesla relative strength within the first 5 minutes. So I'm looking for continuation. I'm looking for that first pullback, waiting for buyers to step in. As you can see for Tesla, holding this order block very nicely right off that 432. This is where I get in. Stop very tight just underneath this 432, looking for high of day plus continuation, right? The only thing I can say about this trade is just because the Qs is underneath their previous day high. So if you're taking this, right, maybe be a little bit more aggressive in your scaling, maybe size down on the trade, but you just have to be cautious because the Qs, similar thing to yesterday, was rejecting off our previous day highs. So as we play the tape here, you can see the buyers are stepping in. We had this nice push towards the upside. I would have liked to see Tesla make a brand new high, but you can see pretty sharp reaction here with Qs coming up into the 616, and we were just not able to make a new high day. So once it did not make a new high day, I was very cautious because I was like, oh, okay, Qs rejection, Tesla's not able to make highs, so something kind of similar to yesterday. So as we keep playing it out, actually, let's go into this NVIDIA one here as well. NVIDIA breaking above. We're looking for the reclaim back above our previous day highs. So Qs trying to flip here as well. So I enter into some NVIDIA calls as price is reclaiming back above our previous day highs, looking for high of day plus continuation. Let's play out the tape. So right here, I'm in two positions. So I'm in Tesla, 1 minute down close candle, retest for continuation. NVIDIA just got in on the reclaim lighter size, looking for high day plus continuation. At this exact moment in time, we're looking for the Qs to see if we can get back above our previous day highs. You can see so far markets are flipping. They're moving nicely here. So you can see Qs getting back above our 616. NVIDIA just made a new high day. Tesla, we like to see that push towards the upside. As I mentioned, NVIDIA hit new high day there. I was not able to take any off. And as for Tesla, right? You kind of see it's forming exactly here as well. So Nvidia, I wasn't really able to take any off. I want to see continuation. I'm paying attention to Tesla here as well, pushing back up into this 435 since I do have a bigger position size on Tesla. And as you can see, as it's coming up, right, I'm looking to scale my position off at this high of day level. So if we keep playing out the tape here, Nvidia's pulling back here, Tesla, another rejection here of our 435. So we're waiting for to see if it can close above that level. As it's coming up, right, the tape just seems heavy at this exact moment, right? Q's rejection, lower highs are being put in. Tesla rejected this level multiple times. I'm thinking now we very much well could reject here on the Q's, and Tesla could reject, and a bunch of these names can reject just based off the QQQ. If you're looking at this on the higher time frames, of course, right? If you're looking at this on the 5-minute chart, you can see rejection right off the bat. Now we're making these lower highs. We very much well could fill the gap. That was something I had in the back of my mind. So for Tesla, I'm scaling my position up into this level. I just don't really like the price action that we have here on the QQQ. So take off about 40% off into that 435 here. And I'm just having a very tight stop. As for Nvidia, I was not able to take any off at high day. So in this case, if any sort of weakness presents itself, I'm just going to end up cutting the position. Right, so you can see Q's rejection here off your 616. That's not really a good sign for longs. As for Nvidia, as soon as it closed underneath, it just ended up cutting the position just because Q's rejecting our 616 constantly. Nvidia had to hold that 192 previous day highs, broke underneath it, ended up cutting it. And then Tesla is coming back down here as well. Ended up basically stopping out the rest of my position for about break even on Tesla. So that was the two trades I ended up taking. So I was down on the day in this current moment, right? I took the Nvidia loss on lighter size. Tesla was a small winner. And now we keep playing the tape. So right here, you can see Q's rejection. Q's rejection off the 616. What is my thought process? So based off of the higher time frames, we're rejecting off our previous day highs. And now we're continuing towards the downside. My thought process is we're going to come fill the gap. So as you can see here, I was a little bit too slow to flip short, right? I was looking for this Q's retest here, offer 614.50. I was just a little bit too slow to the short right here. I was trying to outline it. But as you can see, it touched it immediately and it started rejecting. So the shorts are always more aggressive, but I was not able to get in on this QQQ short, which would have been one of the better shorts towards the downside. As you can see, I'm outlining it right here. I want to see this Q short, but of course, the candle's already down at low of day. If I could have maybe been a little bit quicker, I could have got in on this Q short for a push down in towards this gap fill. But I ended up missing that one. And you can see Nvidia just kept on continuing lower down in towards that full gap. And at this point, you can see most names are reversing. So the next short opportunity is that first dip, which would be the rejection here off our previous day lows. And then Nvidia also had a gap fill. So the Q's filled its gap already. SPY filled its gap. The only one that hasn't filled its gap is Nvidia. So I'm interested in Nvidia off our 190.50. Q's, the short here is off our previous day lows. I kind of outlined the trade here. As I mentioned, right, 609, 610.90 for this potential short. But I mentioned keep an eye out on Nvidia right here off our previous day lows. With the Q's dropping here as well, that's basically where I get in. Break underneath its previous low candle, looking for now continuation down in towards that full gap fill. Now, as you can see, Nvidia, we're just being a little bit patient here. Didn't take any scales until we finally broke underneath. And we ended up having nice continuation lower. I was playing the 0-day contracts. SPY's coming down into a key resistance, but Nvidia, now I'm scaling and basically scaled all the way down in towards this 188.70, which was a full gap fill. Took off 80% of my position on the zeros. And then, of course, I ended up cutting the remaining position once it broke back above this 189 here. So, yeah, that was it for me today. Just wanted to come on, give you guys a quick little recap of the trades I ended up taking today. Small winning position, as I mentioned this week, a lot more defensive, at least the past 2 days. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, appreciate it if you guys drop a like, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.